Chief White House Correspondent Jessica Yellen. She's in the White House briefing room right now, awaiting the president. Set the scene over there. He momentarily will be walking out, making a statement, Jessica.
That's right, Wolf. In fact, we just got the 2-minute warning here in the White House for the president to enter the press briefing room here and address this shooting. Tragically, we have all too much experience of the president speaking to the nation after shooting rampages such as this one. And in these instances, he he often tries to bring it onto a personal level, talk about what it's like as a father, to relate to the experience that parents are feeling across the country right now, watching this story unfold, and try to tell a story from inside that school. Usually tries to find a story of heroism if he can, to reassure the nation that there are positive stories of American resilience. But this is such a grim day. It's a hard one for the president, no doubt, and for the White House here, Wolf. The president found out about this at 10:30 this morning from his director of Homeland Security. He has received updates throughout the day. He spoke to the FBI director, to the Connecticut governor, and has been briefed consistently. The White House has admonished us not to talk about policy and gun control issues today. This is a day for grieving and concern for the families of those involved. And I expect the president to come out here and make some brief remarks, Wolf, much more personal in nature. Wolf.
And we've just gotten a word, a release from the White House that the president has ordered all flags flying at half-staff at the White House, all U.S. Institutions, public grounds all over the country. There you see the flag over the White House flying at half-staff right now in his order. He says, I also direct that the flag shall be flown at half-staff for the same length until December 18th, 2012, same length of time at all U.S. embassies. Here's the president.
I offered Governor Malloy my condolences on behalf of the nation and made it clear he will have every single resource that he needs to investigate this heinous crime, care for the victims, counsel their families. We've endured too many of these tragedies in the past few years. And each time I learn the news, I react not as a president, but as anybody else would, as a parent. And that was especially true today. I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do. The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today for the parents and grandparents, sisters and brothers of these little children, and for the families of the adults who were lost. Our hearts are broken for the parents of the survivors as well. For as blessed as they are to have their children home tonight, they know that their children's innocence has been torn away from them too early, and there are no words that will ease their pain. As a country, we have been through this too many times. Whether it's an elementary school in Newton, or a shopping mall in Oregon, or a temple in Wisconsin, or a movie theater in Aurora, or a street corner in Chicago, these neighborhoods are our neighborhoods, and these children are our children. And we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. This evening, Michelle and I will do what I know every parent in America will do, which is hug our children a little tighter, and we'll tell them that we love them, and we'll remind each other how deeply we love one another. But there are families in Connecticut who cannot do that tonight. And they need all of us right now. In the hard days to come, that community needs us to be at our best as Americans, and I will do everything in my power as president to help. Because while nothing can fill the space of a lost child or loved one, all of us can extend a hand to those in need, to remind them that we are there for them, that we are praying for them, that the love they felt for those they lost endures not just in their memories, but also in ours. May God bless the memory of the victims. And in the words of Scripture, heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds.
A very, very emotional moment for the President of the United States. I dare I say for all of America, much of the world right now. You don't often see a President of the United States showing such emotion, wiping away tears as he speaks of these little kids, 5 to 10-year-old kids. The majority of the victims who were killed in this mass shooting in Connecticut today. Got to tell you, I've covered a lot of presidents. I haven't seen a president emerge as emotionally charged. And this is a president who has 2 daughters that he sends to school every day, like millions of other parents all over the country, how much they can identify with what is going on right now, this insanity that has occurred in this small elementary school in Connecticut. Today, John King is joining us with more information. John, you and I have covered presidents. Not often, I dare I say, I don't remember a time I've seen a president start literally crying like that in the middle of a major statement.
As the president himself noted, Wolf, I think he was addressing the nation more as a father than as a president. And I can tell you, I've been texting my teenage daughter all afternoon, so I get what the president says about hugging your children a little tighter tonight. This is incomprehensible, and that's one of the reasons the president was so sad as he delivered that statement right there. And as we get more information, Wolf, it becomes even more incomprehensible. I'm told by a federal law enforcement source that most of those killed were killed in the classroom of the alleged shooter's mother, who was a teacher at the school, Nancy Lanza, and that he went into that classroom, and again, this is according to police at the scene, reporting back to federal law enforcement officials here, shot and killed his mother, and then shot and killed students. And this source saying most of those killed were killed in that classroom. And she was a kindergarten teacher at the school, Wolf. That is, again, the incomprehensible information we're getting as more and more details of the investigation emerge.
We're getting this information, John, as well from our justice producer, Terry Frieden. And let me be precise in what he has learned. A senior law enforcement official familiar with the investigation, he tells us, says a brother of the shooter, the alleged shooter, was found dead in the residential location searched in Hoboken, New Jersey. That's across the river from New York City. In addition, the mother of the alleged shooter was found dead in the elementary school. The father, who was divorced from Lanza's mother, lives elsewhere in Connecticut, the official said. Official declined to provide further details. So, John, now we're learning not only was the mother found dead, as you've been reporting, inside this small elementary school, the Sandy Hook Elementary School, and many of the children who were killed were in her classroom. She was a teacher at this school, but the brother of the alleged shooter was found dead in a residential location in Hoboken, New Jersey. This is getting obviously very, very even more awful than you can imagine.
And you were speaking, Wolf, I'm sorry, just a short time ago to that school security expert who predicted something similar to this. He said as more details emerge, you are likely to find a profile of somebody who was having very troubled issues in his or her family life. We now know the shooter, of course, is a 24-year-old, I believe, young man, Ryan Lanza, according to police at the scene. And you have from Terry Frieden's reporting, a brother killed. His mother, as I just noted, was a teacher at the school, and it is believed that she was the primary target, according to federal law enforcement officials, and that he shot her and then shot children in her classroom at the school. Most of the deaths, I'm told by that law enforcement source, occurred there in that one concentrated area of the school. And the police will try to put this together, and obviously there will be a detailed investigation into what thing or what things may have been the trigger here for this horrific event. And that is part of the the investigative detail they will try to put together. And it's always the big question. The president just asked it quite poignantly, and I think parents around the country, as well as all those law enforcement officials we're showing on our screens at the scene today, will be asking a very short question. Why?
And we don't know. We have no idea, although I suspect we'll learn a lot more in the coming minutes, hours, and certainly days. John, stand by. Jessica Yellen is our chief White House correspondent. Jessica, you were in the briefing room when the president delivered that powerful, very emotional statement. We saw him repeatedly pausing, trying to control himself, wiping away tears as he spoke to the American people.
Wolf, I've simply never seen the president that emotional publicly. He has never cried like that in my presence. He was consistently wiping away tears, as you say, beautiful little kids, he called them, and pointed out, again, as he always does during these instances, but it seemed to really hit home for him here at the White House and for so many of his aides that we saw actually holding hands and crying by the side, that he is a parent who can now go home and hug his children tonight, but these families cannot. Obviously, this is not a story about the White House, but when he speaks as the consoler-in-chief, it's sort of representative of what so many people around the country are experiencing tonight. And this is, in a way, one of those stories that wrenches everybody out of the moment, out of these stories that we have been covering, and reminds us all that whatever partisan politics we've been going through and reporting on, this is a time to just pause and appreciate our families, appreciate what we do have, comfort those who are struggling right now and going through loss. President Obama is clearly struggling to do that himself right now because he is clearly shaken by this personally. And I would point out that he did make a veiled reference to trying to take some action in the wake of this. He said, whatever our politics, we have to do something to make sure these tragedies stop. We will have to follow up at another time to see exactly what that means for him, Wolf.
And there's no doubt that the president not only emotionally moved, I suspect he's anxious to go to Connecticut, meet with these parents, console them at some point. I suspect that will be sooner rather than later. We're awaiting word now from the governor of Connecticut, Daniel Malloy. He'll be speaking momentarily. Let's take this quick break. We'll resume the breaking news coverage right after this.